What's up, everybody? You already know who it is. It's DripGodDero, and I'm back at you guys with another banger. So, man, we are back with another video, and in this video, we will be talking about what's next for the Toronto Raptors. Now, as we know, the Toronto Raptors, they have had a tumultuous, last couple of years. I'd say from 2019 to now, everything has been either very up or very down. So with all that being said, in this video we will break down the team and what's upcoming in this upcoming 2024-2025 season for this Toronto Raptors team, and what they can improve on and what things they may not be able to change. But with all that being said, let's switch over and let's get right into it. Now, we have switched over, as you guys can see. And before I do actually get into this topic, I want to thank you guys for all the support. Y'all been going crazy on the videos, man. So shout out to y'all. But y'all already know, man, to figure out what's next for a team, you got to always take a look at the past season. So let's talk about it, man. In the 2023-2024 season for the Toronto Raptors, they definitely had them a down year. They finished with a record of 25 wins and 57 losses, which was 12th in the Eastern Conference. Now, when it came to points per game, they struggled. They was only at 21st out of 30th when it comes to the teams in the league. And also when it came to defense, they also struggled. They only had a defensive rating of 25th out of 30th in the league. So overall, it just was a bad year all around. And if you just really examine their season, you can kind of expect a down year for this team because there were so many moving parts. As we all know, their star player and Pascal Siakam got traded to the Pacers. So that's something to note. As we know, another great player and OG Anunoby, he got traded to the Knicks. So that's something to note. So overall, this team, it has so many moving pieces, especially when it comes to the main focal point players in OG Anunoby and also Pascal Siakam. So I can kind of give, this team some slack with them having a struggle of a season because their best players got traded. Now, with that being said, with their best players getting traded, they also got some return back. And some of the players they got back was RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley. And these two players, they played fairly well for this Toronto Raptors team, man. RJ Barrett, when he got over to this team, he shot 55% from the field, and he also shot 39% from three, which is great. So he really turned things around moving on to the Toronto Raptors. He averaged 21.8 points per game, which is a nice, just all around stats. Even when it came to rebounding, he was averaging 6 rebounds per game, averaged 4 assists per game, and overall, I like the stats, man. He looked good for this Toronto Raptors team. Emmanuel Quickley, another new player that they received, he only shot 42% from the field, but he shot 39% from three on 7 attempts. So he's definitely a sniper from three. So that's definitely something good to note. Also, his passing was pretty solid, man. He averaged 7 assists per game on only pretty much 1.8 turnovers. So that's definitely solid, man. He just got to work on, a little on his finishing when it comes to being closer to the rim more, and he should be fine. But Emmanuel Quickley, nice addition. Let's talk about the remaining somewhat star player and Scotty Barnes, man. Scotty Barnes, he the last remaining player. They got rid of Pascal, they got rid of OG Anunoby. But he had him a solid season. He was kinda inefficient, I'll keep it real. When it came to his field goal percentage, it was 47%. And when it came to his three-point percentage, it was 34%. So overall, not too efficient numbers, let's be real. But he did average pretty much 20 points per game, averaged 8 rebounds per game, and 6 assists with 2.8 turnovers. So he had him a solid year as well, but you do want to see him be more efficient. As we know, with Pascal and OG Anunoby leaving, he kind of became the main focal point for the team. So just off them stats, it really makes you question, can he be that focal point? And we'll get more into that a little later on in this video. But besides that, man, they got a couple of young players that are solid. They also got Bruce Brown. Shout out to him. He a solid player. They got Malachi Flynn. Shout out to them. They just had a lot of players, man. If you really look at their roster, the amount of players that was on this team last year was insane. They literally had 30 different players on this team, which is insane if you really just think about it. So, yeah, man, they still got Chris Boucher, he was coming off the bench. But other than that, man, they got Jakob Poeltl, who is a solid center. And, man, let's talk about what's next for this team. All right, so we all switched over, and y'all see it with the salaries. It looks like the Toronto Raptors for this upcoming season, they are 22nd in payroll. So they are bottom 15 in payroll, which is a good thing because that does give them more options to really move some players around and more money to use on different players. So that's pretty interesting. Y'all already know the different options. Light blue is player option, red is team option, green qualifying offer, and purple is two-way contract. So now let's look at some of the players and who are the players getting paid the most. So off top, we see that Immanuel Quickley is getting paid. Woo! Goddamn. He getting paid $32.5 million for the next 5 seasons. So, hey, man, Immanuel Quickley, he got that bag, and shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. He's the highest paid player on this team besides Scotty Barnes. But Scotty Barnes, his updated salary won't hit until next year. So just from the looks of it, it looks like the 3 players that will be getting paid the most on this team is Immanuel Quickley, Scotty Barnes, and also RJ Barrett. But for the most part, you won't really see that peak and salary until next year, because that's when Scotty Barnes really gets paid. But it really just goes to question, would you want a player like Scotty Barnes or Immanuel Quickley being your top paid player on the team? That's the real question. Me personally, I would not, but we could get to that further on in the video. But RJ Barrett, it looked like they got him on a nice deal, in my opinion. Pretty much 27 or 25 to 30 million for the next 2 to 3 years, which is solid. Bruce Brown, he only on a 1-year contract. This is last year, so I would definitely be looking to see what I could do with him and his contract. Jakob Poeltl, he pretty much on a 20 million deal for the next 2 years, which is solid. Kelly Olynyk on a 12 million deal for the next 2 years, which is solid. Chris Boucher, should you keep him? That's a good question, man. I don't know. He on 10 million, then he a free agent. Scotty Barnes, of course, I already brought him up. Davion Mitchell locked in for this year, and then he has a qualifying offer next year. Grady Dick, their rookie, he locked in, of course. Jacoby Walter, he locked in. He a rookie, of course. And with all that being said, let's just get to what's next for this team. All right, so at number 1 for what's next for the Toronto Raptors, you got to find the alpha male for the team. Now, what I mean by that is that, yes, they have a couple of good players. You got Immanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes. But at the same time, one of those players have to step up to become the alpha male on the team. And what do I consider alpha male when it comes to NBA terms. I'd consider LeBron the alpha male of the Lakers. Although Anthony Davis is a great player, LeBron is that alpha male, you know? When it comes to other teams such as the Golden State Warriors, people like to say it's Draymond, but me personally, I'd say that it's Steph Curry. When it comes to win or loss, most of the blame is going to be on Steph Curry. Most of the pressure is going to be on him because if he doesn't perform, that team loses. It's kind of the same with LeBron on the Lakers. And for this Toronto Raptors team, they need to figure that out. Now, me personally, I'm leaning towards RJ Barrett being the alpha male for the team. And the reason I say that is just because currently, during the Olympics, he's been playing well. Last year, he was showing that he could really play well. And I think that he may be the best player on this team at this point. But I don't know. So, anyways, that's number one. Figure out who will be the face of this team and who will be the alpha male for this team. Who will this team live and die by? Me personally, I think it should be RJ Barrett at this point. Now, at number 2, the question is, can Darko Rajakovic lock in? Now, last year, he was the head coach for this team, you know, in the 2023-2024 season, and they struggled. They had a 25-57 record. Like I said during my breakdown, I gave him a pass because it was so many moving parts. You know, you lost Pascal Siakam. You lost OG Anunoby, so I gave him a pass. But this year, I can't really give you a pass because this year you kind of know what you're working with. You know what you're working with. It shouldn't be too many missing pieces or moving parts this year. So, with that being said, can Darko Rajakovic really, you know, put his coach hat on and make some moves and make this team look good? That's number 2. At number 3, I got tried to trade for some solid talent, man. Toronto, more than likely, they will strike out in free agency. So, due to that, I do say that they should look to trade a couple of players, you know. You got Bruce Brown, who on a 1-year deal, you know, Kelly Olynyk, Chris Boucher, those some decent names. So, me personally, I would try to trade to get a star. Now, that doesn't have to be a, you know, super peak star. It doesn't have to be, you know, one of the high-end stars. If it's a Zach LaVine, I'm cool with it. You know, if it's a Larry Markkinen, I'm cool with it. But regardless, I do think that they need to make a trade to try to get some more talent for this team, man. Some more talent. So, with that being said, that is my breakdown on what's next for this Toronto Raptors team. If you enjoyed this video, you already know what to do. Like the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'm out. Peace.